So thank you for joining us, and if you are returning, welcome back. So today's class is really going to focus on the front side of the hips, the external hip flexors, and then your sciatic nerve down here. All of this can get really, really tight. And so today we're going to be focusing on opening all of that up. And part of our vinyasa class is to open and close every class with some breathing exercises. So to begin, and we're going to really think about drawing our breath into our pelvis area. Start to warm up, get blood and oxygen to the hips, the pelvis, the low back. So to do that, let's place both hands on our belly. And just let the belly relax. We're not really working on holding the core in right now. We're just letting the belly relax and feeling that with our hands. On your inhale, you're going to feel the belly expand, and as you exhale, you're going to feel the belly draw in and down towards that pelvis. Inhale, the belly will rise. Exhale, drawing the belly in and down. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale. Exhale. Continue doing that on your own for the next few moments. Noticing that when you're breathing without concentration, you tend to do the opposite. Your belly tends to go in when you inhale and exhale as it goes out. But when we really focus our attention on the breath, that changes. Let's do that 2 more times, really expanding the belly. Exhale, really drawing it in. Last time, drawing it in. Great job. Let's release the hands to the side. Roll our shoulders up, back, and down. And let's just sit here for a moment, letting our spine get into alignment. Our seat should be directly under our low back. Our spine and our neck are in one line. Let's draw the belly in and down towards the pelvis. Great job. Let's take our right hand over the top of the head, reaching for the left ear, and guide the right ear towards the shoulder. So you have 2 options here with your extended left arm. You can leave it long and kind of roll the ear from one side to the shoulder to the next, just seeing where you need the most attention. Another option is to bring the left hand under the seat and give yourself a little extra stretch that way. Or if your neck is really tight and neither one of these feel comfortable, option just to leave your hand in the lap. So play around with that and see which feels best to your body. Great job. Gently guide the head back up to neutral. Release the right hand to the mat. Adjust your spine again. So we're going to roll our shoulders up, back, and down. Check in with that spine alignment. Extend the arms wide. And then let's reach your left hand up over the top of your head, guiding the left ear to the shoulder. And start to test out where your hand should belong on this side. Notice if one side is tighter than the other. Maybe playing around with the hand under the seat, or letting the hand rest in the lap. Let's go ahead and release that side by gently guiding the head back up, releasing the hand to the mat. Inhale, bring both arms up overhead, dropping the left hand down. Inhale, reach up with the right hand and over towards the side wall. Inhaling and reach. Using the right side body to hold your core up. From here, we're going to shift and turn our torso to the floor, starting to stretch out the low back. Leaning forward. And we're going to come out the same way we came in. So first we're going to turn this way, back into our side body stretch. Inhale it back up. Left hand meet the right up top. Dropping the right hand to the mat. Inhale, get long. Exhale, reach. Reaching a little bit further, activating that side body. And get ready to shift, turning the torso towards the mat and reaching long. Feeling this part of your low back start to open up. Coming out the same way we came in, going into our side stretch, rising up, both hands meeting up top. Let's bring the hands to heart center, and then we're going to turn towards the left side. So inhale and twist. Let's place the right hand on the outside of the left knee. Turning the neck last to allow that neck to open up. We'll just be here for a moment. Let's inhale, come through center, extending the chest forward, maybe elbows on the ground or arms lifted, allowing the neck to fall last. If your elbows are down, maybe really engage your elbows and forearms onto the floor without actually moving them, but engage the elbow toward the center of the body. Great job. Let's walk it up. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, heart center. Turning towards the right side now. Left side, left hand on the outside of the right knee, shifting towards the back. And at last, turning the neck towards to look behind you, opening up that side of the neck. Exhale, release. Walk it forward. This time we're focusing on opening, on really extending these hip flexors here. So really hinge at the waist rather than rounding forward. And stop where you either feel your seat start to lift off the mat or your back starts to round. Inhale it up. We're going to go ahead and move to our knees now. You can always use a blanket underneath your mat. You know, all of our home studios look a little bit different. So if you're practicing on a tile floor or a wooden floor or even a cement floor, it might be really nice for you to have this mat under your knees. So to continue opening up our hips, we're going to move into gate pose. So we're standing and balancing on, we're not standing, we're kneeling on both knees, everything in one line. And we're going to extend our left leg to the side, kind of like a kickstand. Toes are pointed forward. Pelvis is in one line. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, we're going to put our hand on our hip and reach. Really trying to keep this chest spent open. Opening up this front hip. Exhale, arm comes back up to center. Left leg comes in. Arms down. Right leg out to the side. Check in with your alignment, check in with your hip. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, reach. Focusing on spinning that chest open and bringing length and openness to this left hip here. Inhale up, bring both knees to center. Now we're going to go into our cat-cow sequence. I'm going to go ahead and remove my blanket for this, but if you would like to use it, go ahead. So cat-cow, if you are familiar, let's go ahead and go right into it. If not, I'm going to guide you into it. So for your inhales, you're dropping your belly, lifting your head and your tailbone. And your exhales, you're rounding your spine, tucking in the head, dropping the tailbone down. Gaze is on the belly button. Inhale. Eye gaze towards the sky. Belly drop down, tailbone lifted. Exhale. Rounding up. Inhale. Exhale. Really try to flow with the breath. That's the meaning of vinyasa, is to flow through with the breath. From here, let's curl the toes and very slowly, engaging the core, lift the knees off the mat and push back into a down dog. So you're going to need to play around with your down dog in this first one, warming up the body, maybe bending and straightening both knees, maybe adjusting your hands or your feet to get the appropriate stance. But really engage through the hands, all 5 fingers. Inhale and push back towards the thighs. Eye gaze on the belly button. Maybe bending the elbow in, bending the opposite knee, bending the left elbow in, bending the right knee. Warming up the body. Inhale, look forward, and then start to walk the feet towards the hands. Really drawing the belly in here, protecting the lower back, and then fold. Hands can be anywhere. Inhale, lift up halfway again. Exhale, fold. We're going to do that 3 times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Last time, inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. This time we're going to inhale and go all the way up. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, arms to the side. So we're going to go through our first sun salutation of the day. So swirl shoulders back up and down. Check in with your alignment. Feet can be yogi's choice. You can have your feet two fists apart, hips distance apart, feet together, whatever feels most stable for you. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, step it back. And because this is our first one, let's go ahead and start with our knees down and really focus on alignment here. So leading with our chest, we're going to let our chest glide through the bent arms, feeling the ribs brush by the elbows, and then drop the shins. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, pausing on the knees, curl the toes, push back into the down dog position again. Inhale, walking the feet up to the hands. Exhale, forward fold. The magic of the forward fold is it's a great opening of the backs of the legs, but if you really work at engaging and pulling the stomach towards the thighs, you will notice that your low back will start to open up. Inhale, lifting up halfway. Exhale, forward fold again. And then let's inhale it all the way up. Arms to the side. Let's turn towards the center of the mat. And we're going to take some of those same side body stretches, but from a standing position. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, let's take about a hips width distance stance. Dropping the left hand to the side. We're going to bring the right over. Really reaching. Thinking about using that core strength that we activated earlier. Not collapsing on the left side. Spinning the chest open. Taking small sips of breath as it's harder to breathe when you're using this much of your diaphragm. So small sips of breath rather than holding the breath. Inhale it up. Arms to center. Right arm down. Inhaling, getting tall. Left hand reaching. There may be a tendency to hop this hip out to the side, but since we're really thinking about bringing length to the side body, try to keep the hips, pelvis all in one line and reach, rather than letting this go out to the side. Protect your hips here, get a firm alignment, and reach. Inhale it up. From here, we're going to turn our toes out slightly. Check in with our pelvis. Make sure it's forward. Bring your arms up to about a 90-degree angle and get your mudra with your forefinger, index finger touching your thumbs. And we're going to squat down. Not too deep here, but we're going to pull our chest back. Make sure it's all open. Your head is in neutral, chin is in neutral, but your eye gaze is looking like almost if you could look at your eyebrows. Maybe playing around with lifting the toes off the mat so that weight is back in your heels. And then let's just move from side to side. Flowing with the breath. Inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, let's turn it into a warrior two on the right side. Adjusting your feet, back foot, toes are facing towards the camera or whatever device you are looking at. front foot, right foot is facing towards the side. Check in with your hips, make sure that they're nice and level. One's not up too far. So our pelvis is centered. Extend the arms and then bend into that front knee. Knees shouldn't be going over the toes. Rather, just trying to keep it at a straight line there. Inhale, coming back. Exhale. Now that we have both legs straightened, we're going to move into our triangle pose. Now we're going to allow the back hip to pop up this time. And with control, using your core strength, start to tilt over. You might hear a pop, and that is okay. If you have your hand on your shin, maybe use that as a guide to push your chest open. Exhale, come on back up. This time bending that front knee again. Maybe start to go into our extended side angle first, checking in with that alignment like we did before. This time we're not popping the hip up, but let's just place the right elbow on the right thigh. Inhaling, lifting the left arm up. Checking in with your tailbone, making sure that it's not poking out behind you, but rather tucked in. Maybe dropping the hand down. Inhale, let's come back up to our warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Turn the toes towards center. We're going to take a wide leg forward fold here. Inhaling, hinging at the waist, protecting that hip, the pelvis, the low back. Pausing at half lift. Bringing length to the back of the thighs. Stability to the low back. And then exhale. Go down to whatever feels comfortable. If your hands are on the mat, try to bend them at that angle, pulling your head and your chest in. Inhale, let's look up. Place our hands on our shins and walk ourselves back up to standing. So we're going to take that same sequence on the left side now. So check in with your hips again. Make sure they're nice and even, oriented towards the front. Your right leg is going to continue to stay straight, facing towards whichever device you're watching with. Your left foot, toes are going to turn towards the mat. Checking in with your alignment. Start to bend that left knee forward. When you feel like you're nice and stable, go ahead and bring the arms out. Eye gaze towards that front middle finger. Trying to make sure that your balance is centered in your pelvis, not on your front leg or the back. To do that, you might spin the outside of your right foot down. Inhale, let's come back up to center. This time we are going to pop that hip back. Using our core strength that we've already activated, tilt. Again, maybe using the back of the hand on the shin as a guide to twist your chest open. Relying on the core strength here. Inhale it up. Exhale, bending that knee again. Taking the elbow to the thigh. Reaching the arm towards the ceiling. And then if you're ready to come down, placing the hand on the inside, reaching the arm forward. Inhale back up to warrior two. Exhale, turning the toes in. This time we're going to take that the wide-legged forward fold again, this time with the hands behind the back. So interlace the fingers behind the back, drawing the shoulders back and down. Inhale, tilting at the pelvis, at the waist. Keeping everything in line. And only go down halfway. Because our goal in this posture, this variation, is straight lines. Think about your upper body being a direct extension from the pelvis, your lower body being direct extension from the pelvis. Using your core strength to stay here. Inhale, lift your hands off the back if you can. It's fine if they stay flat. Don't lose that integrity and alignment. Release the hands to the mat. Forward fold. From here, we're going to walk our hands over towards our right foot, moving the feet forward. And we're going to bring the left knee down. So we're working our way into our crescent lunge. Let's just start going forward and back here. Opening up those hips. Pausing at each extension. Straightening the front leg, bending the front leg. Straightening, bending. Really feeling this part of the hip open up here. Let's come back. Maybe sit up on your toes. Walking back. Really opening up the back leg. Inhale it forward. Start to walk yourself up. Inhale and lift. Drawing that breath into the pelvis, opening up that hip. Exhale, frame the foot. Inhale, lift the back knee. Bring the back foot to meet the right. Down dog. Inhaling, walking the feet up towards the hands. Inhaling for your half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale down. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step it back into a plank, or you can take your knees for your chaturanga. Inhale into your cobra. Tuck in the toes, pushing back into your down dog. This time drawing the left knee forward, setting it down in between your feet, in between your hands, and let's drop the right knee down. Like we did on the first side, we're going to take our time rocking forward and back, opening both sides of the body up. Maybe pausing in a place that you find is tighter than the other. Before finally settling in, tucking the back feet to rest, make a little shelf, set it down, stretching that front leg. And then we're going to walk it up into the crescent. Hands on the top of the knee. Really engaging that right hip open, and then inhale, lifting the arms. Exhale it down, curling the toes, lifting up the back knee, bringing the front to meet the back leg, down dog. Inhale, walking the feet up to the hands, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, all the way down. We're going to come to center of the mat now for some balancing poses that can really work on opening up the hips. Tree and half lotus. So for tree, we're just going to start by making a kickstand with the foot, turning the right heel into the left ankle. Let's bring our hands to heart center here. If that doesn't feel stable, feel free to stay with your hands on your hips. Whichever variation, we're really focusing on opening up this hip. So wherever you find. And when you're ready, maybe lift the foot to the inside of the calf. Again, really thinking about opening up that knee all the way to the side. My number one rule in yoga is never put your foot on the inside of your knee in tree. So if you can't go above the knee, keep it on the shin, on the calf. So we're here. Let's maybe place our right hand on the right knee and just check in with it. Not force it open, but just check in. Exhale, release the foot, shake out the legs. Same thing on the left side. Options to have your hands on your hips, heart center, wherever feels stable. But we're going to start just with the foot resting on the ankle here. Thinking about opening up that hip. Maybe placing the foot on the inside of the shin. And if it's available to you, bringing the foot above the knee, never at the knee. Pausing maybe in prayer to get your balance. And then check in with that hip. Using your hand as a guide, check in and see, are you open? Release the left foot to the mat, shake it out. So we're going to go into half lotus now, which is a very intense hip opener. So if you're a runner, if you're a cyclist, if you spend a lot of time compacting your hips, this may be really difficult for you. So the most important thing is that you don't force your knee down. So again, we're going to strengthen the left leg, and we're going to start to bring up the right knee. Turn the leg to the side and grab your right foot with your left hand, pulling the foot in towards the hip. Maybe letting the knee start to drop. But anytime you feel pain, back out of it. Checking in. If you're feeling fancy, maybe reach around for that bind. First, just grab the arm. If this is okay, maybe tilt forward a little bit, grabbing the toe. If this is okay, start to tilt forward, reaching for the ground. Again, this is just an extension, so you can stay in just a regular old half lotus if you want. To come out of it, bend your knee, start to look forward, rise back up. Release the hand from around you. Release the foot. Shake that out. Maybe curl the toes. Releasing the feet. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the left side now. Taking a moment to center. Let's just start by strengthening the right leg, bending up the left knee. And then turn that foot inwards. Grabbing the left foot with the right hand, and maybe seeing if you can pull that foot towards the hip bone. And then if that's okay, allow the knee start to drop, opening up that hip. When you feel nice and stable and you don't feel any pain in your hip, maybe reach around and grab the right arm with your left hand. Starting our bind. And then maybe tilt forward, reaching for that left toe. Extending the right hand down, coming down. To come out of it, lifting the head, bending the knee, releasing the hand, releasing the foot. Let's roll the feet out. And then take a giant step towards the top of the mat, for our last sun salutation of the practice. So really think about matching every breath with every movement of your sun salutation. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale all the way up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale all the way up. Hands to heart center. And thank yourself for your standing practice. Great job. From here, let's make our way to our seat. We're going to continue our work on our hips. So let's just start with butterfly stretch. So this is what they do in elementary school, and if you remember, they would teach you bounce your legs. It's not very good to bounce your legs, so let's not do that. I'm going to give you a couple of modifications here. If you have blocks available to you, great. If you don't, you can use a blanket, a pillow, anything to bring some height underneath your hips here. What I really want to focus on is support and alignment to open up those hips safely. So rather than rounding everything over to touch your toes, we're going to focus on extending that front body and tilting forward at the waist. Flat back here. You should feel this on your inside of your pelvis, inside of your hips, growing top of the inside of the thigh. Inhale, lift it up. Let's set the blocks to the side. We're going to play around with a balancing pose you may have seen, but it's usually done in stand. So we're going to tuck the left foot into the hip, kind of creating a balance here. Reach down with your right peace fingers, grabbing the right big toe, giving yourself support with your left hand. Inhale, lifting the right leg to the side. So this is a standing balancing posture, but see how it feels when you're on the ground. Opening up this left hip. Come out of it the same way you came in, bringing the foot down. Let's do a spine twist here, turning, tucking the left elbow on the outside, twist. Let's switch it out. This time we're tucking the right foot in, adjusting your seat, making sure you're supported with the right hand. Reach down with your peace fingers of the left hand and extend the left foot. So we have ourselves supported. Maybe play around with the extension. Release that down the same way you came in. Spinal twist on this side. This time tucking the right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Twist. Release that. We're going to come into our pigeons now. So go ahead and come onto all fours. If you love pigeon and you know it, go ahead and go into it. If you're unfamiliar, we're in our neutral tabletop position right here. I'm going to bring my right knee to the inside of my right wrist and my right foot to the inside of my left wrist. And I'm going to start to walk my left leg, toe it down. So we're going to move with our toes and come down. Again, if you need to use this block as support under that right hip, feel free to do so. Also feel free to draw that toe towards the hip. So whatever feels comfortable, supported, stable, without pain. So if you do not need the block, go ahead and remove that. Come down. The closer your toe is to your left wrist, the more intense the stretch will be. Try to make sure that your weight is centered on the very center of your pelvis, not leaning over to one side or the other, but your weight is centered on the very core of your pelvis. Maybe walk your hands forward. Maybe extend the arms long. Maybe even taking prayer position with the hands. The toes of the back leg should be facing the earth. Option to point or flex your right foot here. Feeling the difference in the hip extension. And we're going to be here for a moment. So start to settle in. Your forehead is on the mat. Inhale and lift your head up. If your arms are extended on the mat, maybe bend them. Start to walk yourself up. Carefully lift yourself up. Bring that right leg to meet the back. And we're going to take a child's pose here. Let's make this a wide-legged child's pose to kind of relieve that hip stretch that we just did. So knees out towards the mat, feet in. Let's look forward. Push up into our tabletop. Same thing on the left side. Bring the left knee to the inside of the left wrist. Left ankle to the inside of the right wrist. And start to walk the back leg down with your toes. See how I'm just walking myself down? Option to grab that block. Put it underneath that hip for support. Option to even bring those left toes in towards the right foot. Most important is centering your weight on the core of your pelvis so we're not putting too much pressure on one side or the other. Again, if you don't need the block, set it to the side and start to come down. Maybe starting with the forearms. Maybe reaching the arms forward. Maybe bringing the hands into prayer above you. Playing around with pointing and flexing that left leg. Again, we're going to be here for a little bit, so just start to relax and sink in. and let gravity do the work for you. Inhaling, lifting the head, bending the elbows, walking back to the forearms, tucking the toes, pushing the back leg to meet. And then we're going to come down into frog. So really pushing back, knees out to the side. Try to keep everything glued on the mat. Start to walk yourself forward into your lying on your stomach. We're not going to be here for long. We're just going to work on opening up those hips, continuing that work that we've been doing throughout the whole class. I'm going to bend up my left knee and reach back with my right foot and try to draw it into my seat. Then maybe add my left hand to where I have both hands pulling that right foot into my seat. Letting go of the grasp on my foot, maybe allowing that left knee to come open into like a belly tree. So think about tree position that we did standing earlier, but now we're laying down in our stomach. Using the floor as the guide. And if you need to, you can put your foot on the inside of your knee now because we're not standing. No way you can fall. Okay, straighten out the left leg. Same thing on the right side. Bending up the right knee, reach back with the left foot, pull it towards the seat. Reaching back with the right hand, make sure that you grab both feet, with both hands equally. Again, we're going to call this a belly tree. So allow that knee to come open. Find your sweet spot here. Allowing the floor to be your guide is opening up that knee. Maybe turning the head to the right side. Maybe turning the head to the left side. Releasing the right leg. Start to turn over onto your right side, and then we're going to make our way to our back for figure 4. So actually, let's start with a seated figure four. So bring the left leg over the right knee and start just to walk the hip in a little bit and then walk it down. Reaching between the thighs, pulling those legs into the chest for a figure four. Point and flex the feet. Maybe roll the ankles. Maybe rock from side to side. Forward and back. Make mini circles. Set the feet down. Using your elbows, come back up. Switch out the legs. This time we're bringing the right foot over the left. Maybe walk that in, pause here. Before coming down to the back. Reaching through, drawing the legs into the chest. Again, point and flex the feet. Make little circles with the ankles. Rock from side to side. Forward and back. Making little circles with the legs. Staying on your back, release both feet to the mat. Keeping the feet glued together, allow the knees start to fall apart. As we ease our way into Shavasana, thank your hips and your pelvis for everything that they do. Your pelvis is responsible for maintaining the structure of all these important organs. It's how you walk. It's how you sit. And when you're ready, straighten out your legs and go into your final Shavasana. Grab any of your creature comforts that you like. Maybe grabbing that blanket again and placing it under your neck, rolling it up. If you would like, you can continue to have your thighs open, hips open. Maybe putting a blanket or another bolster or another pillow under your knees, but finding your Shavasana. Start to reawaken your body by reaching your forefingers towards your thumbs and stretching the other fingers long. Pointing and flexing the feet. Making a fist with the hand and spreading the fingers open. Rotating those hands, rotating the feet. Reaching the arms long overhead. Pointing the feet, stretching your body as long as possible. And then turn towards one side for a moment of transition. And when you're ready, let's come up to a comfortable seat. It's been a lot of work on our hips today, so if you need to have your comfortable seat with your legs forward, feel free to do so. So we're going to close out our practice by really coming back to that breath that we did at the beginning. But this time we're going to do that with Brahmari breaths and 1 count of Om. So a Brahmari breath is your inhales are like usual, but your exhales you make a humming sound. And while we do that, I want you to place your hands on your low belly and feel those vibrations and really thinking about drawing that energy into your pelvis that does so much work for you. So let's inhale together. Inhale. Inhale for Om. Thank you for joining me in my class today. Thank you for giving your hips and your pelvis these gifts that you did for the last 60 minutes. For our last inhale breath, we're going to inhale our arms up overhead together, seal them at the top, bring the hands to heart center. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.